I was getting my master's. Paul was working in politics, and I'm 7 months pregnant. He wakes me up in the middle of the night. We're living in Boulder, and he's like, I gotta quit my job. And I was like, okay. So I'm 7 months pregnant in my final year of my master's program, working full time, and I'm like,
It was not a joke. That was
and I'm like, okay, so that's what we do. He's like, let's move back to Fort Collins and me and my real estate license. So we did it. He had his first thing go under contract when I was in the hospital having Mills. And it was, I mean, I look back on it and I'm like, how did we survive that at all and like stay together? It was so stressful. And
Yeah.
when you say build the plane as you're flying it, like that's looking back for that, that felt like it was crazy. I feel like we have so much more of a system now that's helpful. But
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Married and Magnetic, the place for entrepreneurial couples who want to stay happily married.
In each episode, we have real conversations with ordinary couples doing extraordinary things, sharing achievements, everyday joys, challenges, and the mindset and tools that make love the greatest strategic edge.
We are James,
And Angela Mitchell,
a real-life married couple. She's a counselor,
and he's a coach,
parents to 3 kids,
and co-founders of Love Intentionally. We've ridden the highs
and lows.
of building businesses while working hard to stay happily married. We've lived it, done the work,
Got the t-shirt.
and are here to help you do the same.
This is Married and Magnetic, where love, business, and growth collide. Let's dive in, y'all. Hello, welcome to another episode of Married and Magnetic, a Love Intentionally podcast. Today, Angela and I are super excited to be with 2 of our dear friends for about 15 years in person in the studio, Paul and Annah Schnaitter. Paul and Annah met in 2002 at age 21, but didn't seriously start dating until 2004. They both graduated from Colorado State University with their bachelor's degrees. Got her master's degree in psychotherapy at Regis University, and they got married in 2008. They have a 14-year-old son, Mills, and a 12-year-old daughter, Emmy. Paul has been a realtor at the group Inc. since 2011, and Anna has a private therapy practice specializing in trauma, couples work, and psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy. Prior to his career in real estate, Paul worked in politics in Northern Colorado, Denver, North Carolina, and Washington, D.C. Welcome our dear friends, Paul and Anna.
Come in.
Thank you for
Thanks for
having us.
having us. Yeah. So, as James said, this is fun for us because you all also are friends. We happen to really like you, and feel like the subject of this podcast is something you do really well at, right? It's like, how do you manage a relationship, prioritize a relationship in the midst of busy lives with kids and careers and, your own businesses and that kind of stuff. Not only in addition to us liking you and getting to do this in person, which is really fun because all these have not been in person yet, but it's just a thing you do really well. So I'm excited for you all to share how you manage it, all.
Paul being a realtor, which is my background in first life, being married to a therapist, I feel like we can also relate on a lot of things.
Yes, we can.
Relax there.
Yeah.
So as therapists, we know how hard it can be to be married to a realtor.
Yes.
how much you really need us?
Yes, yeah. And what good choosers both you and Paul were.
Smart.
No doubt. No doubt about it.
Awesome. So with that, let's dive in. So tell us a little bit about, we heard about how you all met and everything. At what point in your relationship did you realize, maybe it was from the beginning, maybe it was partway through, but that we really need to prioritize our marriage, our connection, and be really intentional about that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that was, well, first of all, thank you for having us. This is super sweet and we're super honored to be here. And especially you guys asking us specifically, it means a lot because, you guys, this is what you do. And so it's just it's a huge honor to be here to do this. And then we forgot to mention Goose in our bio. He's now a
the
family member.
dog.
Yes.
Like the band.
We have a 7-month, well, the band's great too.
We did forget
Give them a
to see.
Yeah.
We won't tell them.
Yeah. And then lastly, before we get started, I'm going to have to say it out loud now, or I'm just going to think about it the whole time we're doing this. But this feels very SNL skit, sweaty balls-ish. This feels like the perfect setup.
Getting cut. No,
We could cut that for sure. I just have to say it.
and
Oh my God.
now do you want to answer, Angela?
Yes. Now it's the question. It feels like it's been like a work in progress. Like it feels like it's been like a lot.
Definitely post kids.
Yeah,
Like kids.
for sure. We were just a nightmare before kids.
Long time.
Yeah.
Long time nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm thinking They were probably like 2 and 4. We were like
Mhm.
drowning and not connecting and, all the things. And
Yeah.
we got a nanny who just came. She picked up from school 2 days a week. So it was like not full time or anything, but then she'd stay late on Thursdays and we would do a date night every single week. Wouldn't miss it.
Yeah.
And that was they were probably like 2 and 4.
So that was 2015.
So we've been together a very long time.
Yeah. And we've been together and in the beginning, I mean, it was, from the time we really started to get serious through the time that we had kids, I mean, we were like all over the place with work and like really like 2009. Well, no, because you were in school in 2009. Mills was born like a month before your graduation. And then, yeah, so it's just been,
It was a nightmare.
it's been a dumpster fire.
Classic dumpster fire leading to intentionality.
I think that we realized like we need connection. And so we started, and
Yeah.
my primary love language is quality time. And so we started doing a date night every Thursday night. And it really was like something we wouldn't miss for anything.
We were very good about
Really,
that.
really intentional about it.
Yeah. And then it kind of sprouted out of that. I mean, we would connect and then we would have conversations and it would be like, yeah, maybe we should like plan on stuff,
Yeah.
Or
it's like, when you're with your partner and they've been like the dad and I'm like, I remember you.
Right.
I love you.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's kind of how it got going. And then I really think that, so much of our intention has come from you guys.
100%.
Like we've like
Yeah.
really done stuff.
I mean, I think there was like a huge yearning for that for us. And then when you guys kind of came up with that system, we were just like 1000%. And it just like fits so perfectly for us. Yeah, I mean, we've been religious about it. I mean, we do it every single week. We've done the annual retreat. We're on our 3rd or 4th year now. I don't know how many times have we asked you for the.
So you're probably on your 4th.
Yeah, guys, we can't find our book again.
Which every single year we're on the retreat, and I'm like, oh, that's where it is.
And we come
It's
home
like-
and he finds it.
Yeah, but
We have a few of them now.
Yeah.
It's a great way to get the new bird. Keep it.
I know this year I was like, oh, this is different. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, we did update some things. Yeah.
He's good.
Well, and I love that. That's great feedback for us too, because really our intention with the system we have was that we were working with people that are busy, right? Which have kids, have careers, have businesses. And so it was, how do we make this really doable and systematized, right?
Yeah.
So that you can, incorporate it, right? Because if we just give you a bunch of stuff to pile on your to-do list when you're already busy, like that doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm curious with you all, what we have found is that, you mentioned the weekly meeting and you do your weekly meeting every week. For us, we feel like that has saved us time
Oh, 100%.
in our week. So it
Oh,
takes
yeah.
an hour or whatever.
1000%.
Yeah.
Has that been true for you?
Yes.
Well, we used to, it's like running the business, right? But it'd be like 7 a.m. Everyone just got up. Everyone's a little crabby. And I'd be like, are you doing hockey? I'll do soccer. And it's like the days. And he's looking at me like, are you trying to do this right now?
Yeah.
But so totally. It saves like some frustration and arguments too. Because we already like have it figured out. We're both ready for the meeting. When
Yeah.
the meeting happens, Paul normally has the list of 27 more things he wants to discuss
I
that
do.
he's waited on.
I have some
which
issues to address.
we get done with your agenda and I'm like, okay, what do you have? And it's
Yeah.
like, let me pull it.
Well, and I will say this is the first year we've had the living the best life like sheet all filled out for the whole year. I think the last couple of years we have not incorporated that piece into our weekly board meeting, and that's been huge already. I mean, it's only been like 2 months.
We're supposed to do that every year. Though. Telling them. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But like,
We'll look at it each week and like, oh yeah, we were.
we also didn't go long enough in the first couple of years, and then this year was the first year where it was like long enough, but we had so much stuff that we needed to talk about that next year we're gonna go for I think 3 days or like 3.5 days because it's really you can fill it up.
Yeah. Yeah. And for those of you listening, what they're talking about, if you haven't done a retreat with us, is we had a sheet, like a 1-pager that you kind of, after you've gone through the whole, all the sections, you fill out your top goals for each section. And then we really encourage people and yay, they're doing it, to then when they have their weekly meeting or their quarterly check-in to like look at those goals so that you're kind of staying on track. We made the same mistake early on when this wasn't a business. We were just doing it for us. We'd go away for our annual retreat. We'd come up with all these great ideas. And then we would not look at them until the annual retreat next year.
Yeah.
And some of them happened by default, I
Exactly.
think, just because it was kind of top of mind. But other ones we'd go, oh yeah, I forgot that one.
Yeah.
So this is a way of revisiting and make sure we're staying on track with all those brilliant ideas we have at our annual retreat.
What has your experience been in business and in life?
Some about it. I am horrible. I was actually just listening to a podcast this week about like, how do you actually want to complete your goals? I'm like a big picture person where like I'll just continue to think about something and then it feels like it just manifests. But as far as like, I'm going to do this, I'm then tracking it. And
I just can't, like, for me, it's like I can't keep track of what I feel like disoriented if I don't have that stuff. So having it and then like looking at it on a regular basis is like the only way that I can like function without feel like I'm going crazy kind of thing. So, and Ninja's helped out with that tremendously. I mean, like, going through the business planning portion, and then doing like, it's kind of the same thing, like a weekly check-in meeting. I mean, that's the only way that I'm able to like feel grounded is if like I know where I am, I'm gone through my checklist, and then I'm looking forward to next week kind of thing. So
Did you write your goals down for your real estate business before you started writing goals down for your personal life?
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that was,
long ago.
well, no, I mean, I would say it's simultaneous because, you're supposed to create your bucket list as part of business planning, right? So it was like started creating the bucket list and then started creating, goals for business, in tandem with that. So it was probably simultaneous, but our lifetime, our kind of bucket list, it's just continued to grow obviously over it's just one dynamic list. So it's fun to look at that. It's probably,
And to look at it and say like, which one do we want to do this year?
yeah, totally. Yeah, a lot. It's been since our kids were born, it's been a lot more like adding things to the list. And like we've been checking some off, but we've added more than we've checked off.
Also, that's a good sign. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Keep them
That's a
coming.
dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say too, you're, Anna, you being more of the big picture and you being more of the detail oriented. We are that as well, just opposite gender wise.
Mhm.
And I have found that, well, one, I think there's something to that opposites attract kind of thing, right?
Totally.
And I find that sometimes those setups are really complementary, right? Because for me, I'm very detail oriented. What are the tasks? What's the to-do list, right? James is big picture creative. And so I feel like I actually help him accomplish some of those dreams and creative ideas because he might have them, but without an action plan or a to-do list, they may never come to
Mhm.
fruition. And then vice versa for me, he helps me expand and like go bigger. So I'm not just caught in the minutia.
Yes.
Right. And so I found that dynamic. I don't know what couples do if they're both dreamers or both, at least I think.
Look at
It seems
some on the show.
harder. Yeah.
And you'll need a therapist on there with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
I think everybody could use a good therapist in the relationship.
Right?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No, we've had many.
I will say that's one thing that like we've talked to, like every other couple or every like spouse of a couple that I talk to about it, they're just like, like you guys seem to be like doing okay. Like what's going on? I'm like, we're on our like 12th marriage therapist, literally.
And it's not because we like don't like them. It's we move
Well,
or I mean, there's been a few
There's a couple of
that you
kisses
don't
and
connect with.
frogs.
And as a
Yeah.
therapist, will tell you like that is the most important thing.
Of course.
To connect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And
Our last two are like have been the best of like all time. We made one retire. I'm not sure if that's
That's definitely what a bad.
She said she liked us.
Well, that's great. So that's actually one thing I was going to ask you all is, we obviously also really believe in therapy and coaching. And, it's funny because I think in some of our earlier years, we made the mistake of feeling like, well, as a therapist and, after real estate, James went into coaching, like we have the skills. We should be able to navigate this on our own, right? We have the quote unquote skills to do this and realizing that it is just different when you are in the relationship
100%.
I mean,
yourself.
there's no objectivity.
There's not
Yes. Yeah.
objectivity's gone. No.
Right. And there's no one to point out your blind spots, right?
Well, and if people could coach themselves, then they would need coaches, right? I mean, it's like, yeah,
I have a case in for you guys too.
Yeah.
It's fun to work with people who are like ready to work.
I know the Gottmans and their research found that on average, couples wait about 6 years before they get help. So, as a couple that has sought out therapy, and Anna, as a therapist yourself, do you have any advice for our audience on the idea of waiting 6 years to get help?
Bad plan.
That's insane.
We literally, the first marriage therapist we saw was before we got engaged. So I guess it wasn't a marriage. We were living in DC.
Couples therapist.
Couples
God,
therapist.
yeah.
Yeah. But it was like, we love each other. We know we want to be together, and we are
Yeah.
like not figuring this piece out. And we went, and I mean, that's kind of been the situation. As a therapist, I'll tell you, like, I'm grateful that the stigma has started to go away from
Yeah.
like, if I go to therapy, it means something's really wrong with me, right? It's like everybody can benefit from an hour spent. They don't wait 6 years. Having another set of eyes and ears on things can be so helpful.
Yeah.
Has been for us for sure.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I like, and I feel like a lot of times it can be if there's a male in the relationship, it can be like a male thing where they're, there's a stigma around it or whatever, like I'm too tough or whatever. And it's just like, my question to them would be like, what are you afraid of? It's like, that's to me, that's like a fear factor thing. And it's hard. I mean, of course it's hard, but I mean, like, everything that's worth anything in life is like hard. It's hard work, but yeah, 6 years feels insane. I mean, that feels like, what sort of patterns could you establish over a 6-year period? I mean, that feels like a lot. And it's just like, why would you sooner today?
That scar tissue that built up is pretty big.
I
Hard
think
to
about
get
it.
rid of.
Yeah, I think about it. I don't know why a wheelbarrow pops to mind because I like never use a wheelbarrow. But like if you're like,
That's true.
that's true. But a wheelbarrow going down the same path for 6 years, like the rut just gets
Yes.
deeper and deeper and deeper, right? If you're going down that same pattern, and feels much easier, if you've only been going down that for 6 months to
Yes.
like a new path,
And that's not to say you're doing anything wrong. And I hear that a lot. I'm going to pick on men right now. Like, I haven't done anything wrong. Well, that's not the point.
Yeah.
We're not here to fix or to correct
Yes.
per se. We're here to connect.
For sure.
And I think we see a lot of success when a person's done their own personal work first.
Right.
Get some self-awareness, get an understanding of what's really fueling, how they're showing up. And then once they've done that, then we help them apply that to how it's not as easy to do the same thing in a relationship. I can do it on my own. If I'm in a room all by myself and I need to self-regulate, it's really great. But whenever somebody else comes in the picture, that can create some different triggers or
Yes.
big feels, it makes it a little more challenging. So yeah, it's not about doing it wrong. It's just about doing things better.
Yes.
Right.
1,000%. Well, and like being mindful, both of yourself individually and then, in your relationship or in your family structure. Yeah. During our meeting, I was sharing like this win with Anna where, our son yesterday looked at me and he's like, we were eating and he's like, do you ever just like really slow down and like taste the food? And he's like, even when you're eating like bad food, it still tastes good when you're like there with it. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty awesome. And it's just, he's like, I told him this morning, I was like, you realize like you described like mindfulness, like you were like totally present with where you were, and I was like, I'm super proud of you. And like, to me, like, that's also like part of therapy. It's like that self recognition and like, here's like, I'm upset about this. So like, maybe I'm reacting and I'm getting triggered for this reason. I'm reacting in a poor way because of that. Like, it's not about like, oh, I did this wrong or whatever. But yeah, newsflash, you probably have done many things wrong.
So you guys, y'all built this plane while it was flying. Understand?
Marriage plane.
Figuring these things out,
Yeah.
going through it while you're also building wealth, building your businesses, getting through school, starting your own, right? Getting into your
Having
own
kids.
career and kids. So that's a lot. It's a lot on plate. And I also think the career that Paul has chosen is a bit of it creates a lot too. Let's start with an easy one. Anna, what's it like to be married to a realtor?
So it helps that I grew up with my dad being a realtor. So like the lifestyle was not unfamiliar to me. And then small secret, I don't know if you guys know this, but I sold real estate at the group for 6 months. I figured out my anxiety couldn't handle working 100%.
Check.
But I have my real estate license. I just told the kids that the other day and they're like, no, you don't. And I'm like, no, I swear. Like, I really did. I, like, my senior year of college, I got my real estate license too. So all that to say, I actually love it. I mean, I think the most challenging part, I think, is that it's like when things are happening, you gotta work. And then when things are not happening, sometimes there's like, what's happening right now? You know, I mean, there's just, and it's never super consistent. I mean, as he's gotten busier over the years, it's much more consistent. But I think like, as far as time and, you know, I mean, we just got back from Mexico. We spent Christmas in Mexico and we landed at 11 Friday night. And I didn't see him until Sunday evening. Like, he was showing houses and meeting with people for 2 straight days. So it's stuff like that where it's like, but we've just had 7 days all together with like limited to struggle a little bit more. When the kids were little, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah. And they
come home, please.
James was usually at a brewery when I made that call.
Oh.
I don't know about Paul, but
So-
like, I'm networking.
Flow man.
Sounds like you're at Odell's.
For sure.
Yeah. And I
Yes,
have-
this is where all my future clients are, honey.
Yeah.
Babies screaming, come home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely, I think, super challenging for every reason. Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I also at that point felt like I had some like Catholic guilt going where it's like I had to be doing this or that or else I wasn't going to be successful kind of thing. And so, you know, I did not invest as much time as if I went back in time now, I would have, you know, with you and the kids during that time period.
So first time I've heard you say something like that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like thinking about you're like I have like 2 kids at home by myself and you also work, you know, I mean, like that's.
Okay, let's be clear though. I mean, my income is like not what keeps the family alive, right? And so, but what happened, you guys, was so I was getting my master's, Paul was working in politics, and I'm 7 months pregnant. He wakes me up in the middle of the night. We're living in Boulder. He's like, I gotta quit my job. And I was like, okay. So I'm 7 months pregnant in my final year of my master's program, working full time. And I'm like,
Was not a joke. I was.
so I'm like, okay, so that's what we do. He's like, let's move back to Fort Collins. I'm gonna get my real estate license. We did it. He had his first thing go under contract when I was in the hospital. It was, I mean, I look back on it and I'm like, how did we survive that at all and like stay together? It was so stressful. When you say build the plane as you're flying it, like that's looking at it.
Yeah. When did the system thing change for you? Like, when did you start to feel like it was more like not feast or famine or like super stressful all the time?
I think when we moved the summer before our oldest went to kindergarten.
2017.
Was that the business he was providing was more stable? The
Systems you had
financials
built together.
What created that?
Yeah, I think, so my business started out really slow because Mills was born in the middle of all of the things. And so I, was like trying to get my business off the ground with a newborn baby, and same with you. I mean, we literally for a while,
Yeah.
I mean, for quite a long time, thinking back on that. But I think it was more that like we felt more connected. We moved into a house that we knew what we thought we were going to be in for a while. Mills was going to kindergarten. Like everything was just like, okay, I feel like we're more grounded.
More
I
like,
mean, do you agree or do you have a different idea?
no, it feels like more settled. Like that's where we knew we were going to be for a while.
Like the physical space of the house, right? Which was, you bought the house, right? And so we had the financial ability to do that at that point. Paul, what did you do to bring more financial abundance into your business?
Yeah, that's a good question. I worked.
That's what I was going to say earlier is like you were working and I was with the kids because like that was the choice that we had.
Yeah.
But anyways.
Yeah, but it was also just kind of like I feel like, I can't remember, but Kyle Basner had recommended it to me, and Brandon Wells had also read it. It's the trainer for Michael Jordan. It's like some excellence book. I don't know, but he said people are either motivated by they're chasing gold medals or they're being chased by a tiger. I think for us, really like my entire professional career, it's being like chased by a tiger. Like, it's like you're just trying to like not drown, you know,
Not to lose.
Yeah, I mean, you're in desperation mode. And then I feel like 2017 was probably around the time when the desperation mode switched into more like sustainable, like this is going to be a long-term thing. So we don't have to like, run into the gas station on fumes type of thing. So that's in 2017 is when I started working with Garrett Fry, as a coach. And, I mean, he really shifted things for me from, like a roller coaster into more of like a just flat highway kind of thing where it was like, we're just gonna have all these activities and that's when I started tracking like my pie time and everything. That's when it felt more just like sustainable.
So you had the systems in your business as
Mhm.
well. Yeah.
For sure.
And those were before the systems in your marriage?
Yes.
Yeah. Well before.
All right. Hey,
Well-
we got to start somewhere.
Guys, I don't know how we're still together.
Living on love.
We've always been in love. I think that's kept us alive
That's
for
a
a long
fact.
time.
Well, and what I appreciate about the some parts of your story you were just telling that I didn't know yet was that I didn't know about you saying you wanted to quit your job when she was 7 months pregnant. But it feels like from your response, Anna, that you just were kind of like, okay, well then that's what we'll figure that out, right?
You did.
Mhm.
And I think that says a lot about being each other's cheerleader and being on the same team, right? Or even when you were talking about, well, yeah, you were home with the kids, and sometimes it's the SOS call. When are you coming home? I made many of those when James was in real estate. And I had little ones like, are you home yet? The baby won't stop crying, and the toddler's throwing a fit,
And I'm out of the box of wine. It's empty.
And you're in Odell.
Odell's working. That's in air quotes if anybody's not just listening to this. But that idea that, and I think that was what helped us get through the hustle of the earlier real estate years, which
Yeah.
I'm sure is true for not just realtors, but a lot of entrepreneurs, is those early years when you're hustling, you're scraping by and you're being chased by the tiger and trying to make the mortgage payment. And then that's also when we're like building our families and having babies. Like, what a crazy time, right?
Mm.
And for us, part of what helped us stay connected, and I heard it in your story too, was at our annual marriage retreat, it was creating that vision together. Like, okay, this is the life we want to have. There's going to be different periods of our life when we're playing different roles, but we're on the same team. And so for us, and even like James and I, we would go over his business goals together. So like I
Oh,
knew
nice.
what his business goals were.
It's actually how our retreat started. Is I wanted to connect with her after I did my business retreat and my business goals for the year. I said, let me catch you up on this. You're our CFO. Like, I should probably let you know how much money I'm going to make.
So I pay the bills. He makes the money. I pay the bills.
And that then stemmed into her counselor side going, well, let's also talk about our connection and our relationship.
Let's talk about our feelings in
Like-
addition to our
So it's like,
finances.
all right. I wasn't super excited about that when she brought it up. Now-
Now,
Look at
now
you
it's-
now.
love
you
it.
know.
But I think that idea that we can stay on the same team, then it makes some of those like, moments easier, right? Because it's like, okay, yeah, whew, got the babies again, and they're going to need to be fed and bathed and put to bed, and you just got a call that someone wants to write a contract.
Mhm.
You need to go do that because our family needs that money. So I can send you out the door with a kiss rather than a eye roll.
I can leave not fearful of being taxed for having left the house.
Mhm.
The tax of maybe, back in those days it was work. Like, I got to go. I'm going to miss bed and bath. I'm showing a house or I'm doing something important. This isn't just going to Odell's right now. Like, I'm choosing. And I could trust that she was going to receive me back with excitement and open arms instead of quiet resentment, which would then make me more fearful to go leave the house to do the job that I was trying to
Mhm.
do. And every now and then we got kind of brushed up on that cycle, right? Where the resentment would kick in. I'm like, but I have a job to do, and not just the job to do, but to create this vision that we've got. So that invisible tax, sometimes it can, I think a lot of men, guys trips,
Mhm.
want to go on a hunting trip or a golfing trip, right? And they come back like, oh, I'm going to pay for it when I get home.
Mhm.
And I think that there's some opportunity, if anybody's feeling that way, to say, how can we alleviate that part so we're getting actually what we want out of this?
I totally agree.
Well, and having that, doing the annual marriage retreat, like I feel like it does exactly what you're talking about. Like it puts you, I mean, you're always on the same team, of course, but it almost like shows you the vision of what the year to come is to look like. And then, yeah, part of that is like having time with your friends, and like, of course, and it's not just me, it's you as well, so it's like, you're like, not only are you okay with it, but you're like happy for your spouse to do it, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. So thanks for talking about your feelings during the
You're
financial.
Did not see that coming.
So, not too long ago, I was looking into some statistics because I'm a nerd like that. And to be fair, there's not really good, clear statistics on it. But what they estimate is the people who do statistics, what they estimate is that realtors are about 50% more likely to get divorced than the general population.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, right? So at first I was like, wow, that's really high. And then I thought about it and I thought about our earlier years in real estate. And like, I have my theories on why that might be. I'm curious for you all, like, do you have any thoughts or theories on why that particular population marriage might be more challenging or difficult?
Therapist.
A few choice things that I talk about.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
No,
Names.
I know like the type of personality that goes into real estate is like super extroverted normally and likes to have a good time, and
Party people.
I think
On the Enneagram. Leos.
totally.
Is that what's the 7? The enthusiast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Emmy's a 7.
Oh, God.
Youngest.
1,000%.
Can't test her yet.
Burn the house down.
So I wonder about that and, finding someone else in the midst of being super outgoing. I wonder about like the stress of the income instability.
Yeah.
That surprises me though. That feels really high.
Yeah.
Like outside of the
Already
normal
50%
Yeah.
of people that end up in divorce. Yeah.
Right.
Been keying in on this idea of being seen. So we'll talk about connection being the greatest currency in a relationship.
Yeah.
And we want to be abundant in that currency. Connection being seen and heard, being appreciated and being desired. Also, just looking back on my time in real estate, if the realtor out there is married to someone who is not in real estate, didn't grow up in a real estate family, doesn't understand what it's like to be in entrepreneurship, doesn't understand what it's like to be in sales, has no idea what it's like to be in a flexible income, over time, there can start to be the butting of heads about any of those topics. And I think the realtor can end up potentially feeling unseen. Working my ass off out here. I'm getting 50 no's today. Like I made my calls. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. It's not working. I'm already frustrated about that. And now I'm coming home and I'm getting asked when my next closing is or how long. Oh, this is always a fun one. How long are you going to do this real estate thing before you get a real job? Right. That kind of an energy behind it. So feeling unseen in it.
Just not imagine ever saying something like that to you.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like you grew up with a
Yeah, I think I probably get it maybe more
Yeah.
so than like a typical realtor's wife.
Yeah, but I mean, there's also been times when I have, I'm like paying a tax for having been gone for sure. But I mean, that's more, I think, about what you have going on. But we're going to get lots of comments from the 7s on the Enneagram. So,
Yeah. And I think, to your point, James, about not being seen, I think it also happens on the other end, right? And so if you, like I was saying, my comment earlier that was like half joking, but half not, when I would be home with the babies, I had been working as a counselor during the day, and then I'm home and I'm cooking dinner and juggling babies and getting the oldest to baseball and like all the things. And I call you and you're at a brewery, and now as an entrepreneur myself, I understand this idea of you need to be in flow and you need to be out meeting people and, all these things. But from the other perspective, I think your job can look really flexible and sometimes fun from the outside.
I'm a
I'm a great chooser.
Clearly, you chose me.
Well, and I think in both of our scenarios, you guys were the breadwinners, right? And we were also working, but I am like witch hat because I leave my office and I go right to pick up the kids and drive them around for 2 hours and try to get dinner on the table. And he helped. I mean, you're helping with pickup and stuff like that, but the lion's share of all of that and making sure we're going to eat a healthy meal that night.
Especially when they were smaller too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, in real estate, things I've learned over the years is you had 50 balls you were juggling at work. Right. That I didn't necessarily see because you were at work.
I wasn't even going to show you.
But I was very aware of the 50 balls I was juggling at home. And I think because it was also your house and also your kids.
Easier for him to see your ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the
Sweaty
Love
balls.
it.
Sweaty balls.
Just his balls.
It's from SNL.
I love it.
No, but I thought that's actually where you were going with it originally. It's like where, there'll be some times when like I'll come home and Anna will be like, tell me about your day. And I'd be like, I just don't. And the last thing I want to do is like rehash all of it again, which I feel like I've gotten better about. There'll be like one thing that we could talk about that happened that day where I'll like talk about that and you'll be like, man, that feels really stressful. And like, here's why that may have been tough or whatever. And then I'm like, oh, the time it's like, I just don't want to even start rehashing the day. Cause then it's like, I feel like I get in a death spiral, cause you are, I mean, you're like juggling like a million things at once and it feels stressful. And,
They're big balls too. People's really important balls. It's not a small ball.
It's not.
So yeah, I think to wrap up the balls conversation, put a bow on the balls.
Yeah.
Check. Would be that I think, and this I'm sure is true for not just realtor and non-realtor couples, entrepreneur and non-entrepreneur couples, was that we don't. There can sometimes be this miss in seeing each other and
Yeah.
what everyone is bringing to the table, right? And so I wasn't seeing all the balls you were juggling at work, right? And you frankly weren't, you were seeing some of them, but you weren't seeing all the balls I was juggling at home. either.
I still don't.
Yeah, he's
No, it's
like our
doctor's appointments and
who's
signing up
registering
for
soccer.
something.
Yeah. Like, oh, you don't just show up at practice and go, here's my kid. No, you have to
Paying for
register and you got to buy the
pictures.
uniform. Right.
You guys want more of a list, or is that will that suffice?
It was hilarious. So I took Mills to Steamboat for this hockey tournament, and my dad came down and met us. He drove down, and so we go to the first game. And then at the end of the first game, I was like, "When's the party?" And they're like, "Oh, just check the app." And I was like, "Cool."
So what did he do? Hey, when's the party?
Yeah.
Get the app. No, I don't need that.
Are you kidding? I've sent him 4 invites for the app, and it still says Paul Schneider
I'm not
invited.
good at the apps. I'm good at the apps.
See it all be great.
Meanwhile, I'm at home, it's like massive training and have the flu. Lots of balls.
So let's get a little gritty here for anybody here and starting to land the plane a little bit. Talking about all the different thoughts in our heads, right? And all the different invisible work we're carrying on our own or as a relationship and not wanting to talk about it. What I heard you say is, I want to be more present when I'm here. So not talking about work or rehashing some things is one way to do that. Are there any other practices or tangibles that you do to maintain presence in your marriage?
Question. Want me to go first? Well, so I am a physical touch love language person. I'm like all of them, but primarily physical touch. So every time like I'm struggling with anything or Anna says, what do you need? It's like that one question in the meeting, like, what do you need this week? It's always just like hugs,
Warm hugs.
Yeah. But then it's funny. I don't know where you read that statistic, but about the stomach to stomach contact with a hug was tacking. But like we've tried that and it's like, oh my God, like there's something magical about
Like releases
belly buttons.
serotonin. Have you
Yeah.
guys heard this? Like your stomachs touch each other as opposed to just like chests.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like has to be longer than
20
Well,
20
really
seconds is what I heard.
because you think about it and it's like the side hug versus like the shoulder hug or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, but like that has like begun the connection, I feel like a lot of the time. And then for you, it's quality time. And I've heard you describe that to me as like when you're making dinner or when you're doing something, like you just want someone to sit with you and talk to you.
No, he often comes home in like the middle of dinner stuff. And so we try to be pretty intentional about that time and like with our kids, no devices and no TV.
The meetings are a great way to do that. Our weekly board meetings are a great way to do that because, you just like schedule the time, what's going to happen. Like, that the purpose of you being there is to connect. So I feel like that sort of catalyzes other times during the week to happen, like maybe a little bit easier, where you're able to like drop into that connection. Yeah. I mean, even just like slowing down, sometimes, I mean, that's been a huge thing where it's just like, or like taking like a 5-minute walk or like we've been
Doing that more together, just taking a walk.
Yeah.
With Goosey.
Goosey. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I wish there was like a magic bullet, but, it's really just like making it a priority and like being consistent about it and like creating a routine is I found what works for us. I feel like, yeah.
Right.
So you all been together a long time. What, if you could think back to earlier in your relationship? So if you could give your previous self some advice, pick a timeline, 15 years ago or something, but your previous self some advice, what did you wish you
High in
knew?
the sky kind of thing.
Well, like, what do you wish you knew when you were building the plane?
Well, that's what I'm thinking
helpful?
is like build the plane and then try to
Then try to fly it.
away. Yeah, what's funny is our courtship was pretty long. I mean, we met in 2002. We didn't get married until 2008. And then it feels like it just kind of went really quick. I would tell my previous self to be better about giving him the benefit of the doubt. That I've learned to do that. But I think a lot of heartache and missed had I like spend time together. You know, when our kids were little, I mean, even to think about like putting them to bed and ordering some Thai food and like sitting in the living room together. We just weren't doing any of that. We were like exhausted and we did not prioritize our marriage when we had.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are all really good points. I mean, I would say the same thing for all of those. I mean, I think for me, like I had a scare. I had like a heart thing happen 2020, the end of 2022. Okay. But it just made me, and everything's fine, but it just made me realize that like, oh, like we're not going to live forever, you know, like, and that's hard. I feel like in this world that we're trying to create of abundance, right? Where it's just like, you have more than enough and all these things. Like, but it just hit me really hard that like, none of us are getting off this rock alive, right? Like we're all going to die. And it's just a matter of time. So, like, how are you going to choose to invest your time now that you have less of it every single day? Right. And that it kind of sounds morbid, but it's like, it's actually really not. I mean, it's kind of a beautiful thing when you think about it, because if you like recognize that that's the case, then it's like your time becomes like so much more precious, like every day. Right. So like, yeah, I guess I just would have had heart problems earlier.
Physical kind, emotional.
Yeah. Literal physical heart problems. Yeah.
That sense of death goes a long way just to helping us appreciate. That's kind of what I'm gathering here, is to start appreciating what you have.
Yeah.
And not just the physical aspects, but what you have in the relationship with somebody who's choosing you every day, somebody who is your ride or die, somebody that's going to show up and love you and wants to love you. And somehow,
what's interesting about that? So I do these pie time presentations. So it's like productive time, indirect productive time, and everything else. I know you're familiar with it, but like it basically puts a dollar value on your time based on these activities that you're doing. And what it made me realize like so quickly after I started keeping track of it was that like time with friends and family and like chosen family is literally like priceless, because like, you know, if you're choosing to do that over doing these other things that produce this much money, but it's like, not only do you willingly do it, it's like you are like overjoyed to do it. And then it creates like more value in that time, and you could be more present in that time too. Like, it's just a really interesting sort of how that's developed has been really interesting. Like we had this week with our family in Mexico this last week. And it was like, we just said every day, like, this is so great that we're here together. Like we did no gifts. Like it was literally just like there hanging out with each other. And like everyone, I think, felt super happy and grateful to do that. Yeah. So yeah, no, it's, I feel like the further we get into our relationship, like the more value there is there, you know, it's, yeah.
I love the reframe you just did. I can tell you're married to a therapist. Where I think what can trip entrepreneurs up, especially like early on building their businesses, is this idea that like time is money, right? So if I'm not being on the business, then I'm like losing money, right? And you just flipped that and said, no, it's not like it's not that those times are time with family and friends, whatever, that don't make any money. Those are actually priceless, right? Which is different view on that time. And I love that because like you said, I mean, with the heart thing, like I don't think people get to their deathbed and say, I wish I worked more.
1,000%.
Right. They say, I wish I spent more time with my family.
a good friend of ours, he uses the phrase carve out the time. You carve out the time for a relationship. Like it doesn't just show up. I don't just
wait for it to magically
oh,
appear.
look, there's just all this time for our relationship. And in that, your answer, Paul, is like, this is what makes it worth it.
Yeah.
And how to go from feeling like you're too busy to do that to feeling like there is no other point, there's no other true challenge to like win beginning to carve out the time for valuing these things so much that like, I'm going to do this.
And the fact that you're choosing that over all these other things and you're so busy and whatever, but then that you're like choosing to do that creates even more value out of that time, which is just, it's cool. It's like
It's the good stuff.
it's the great stuff. Yeah.
And we found in our relationship that when you've had this in your business, but when we are doing well and connected, we actually tend to do better in work and financially, right? Because we're not distracted and, putting energy to fixing whatever's going on with us. We're able to like show up at work fully present. And as a result, we end up making more money.
Totally.
Yeah.
We actually figured that out on the flip side where like we have a rough week or whatever. Neither of us really feel totally in our body. It feels like things are really tough. And work goes very poorly. I think being present and, and what I have to do, I know for you too, like be there with
That it's the slight edge concept. It's the rocket fuel though, right? It's the secret sauce to success for entrepreneurs is a solid marriage that gives them permission and excitement, a fire to go out there and create the vision that we've created. That's what's unique about entrepreneurs. And that's what's really great about the conversation we got to have today. We've got some questions that we like to ask here at the end. Rapid fire.
like one word.
I think they're the easiest questions, but our last podcast, they were like, that's the hardest question we asked all day. And I was like, oh, these are supposed to be fun. So,
Yeah. Question number 1. What do you call each other?
Yeah. Abe, I think.
Unless we're addressing each other in a note, we'll use our first two. We both say like our first two initials.
I'll call you Banana in notes or Anna Jean in notes. Yeah. Yeah.
But when we're addressing each other like verbally, if I yell Paul, he's like,
I know. I like, if he
Yeah.
uses my name, I'm like, oh, is he mad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like, is he saying Angela? That's so weird.
Yeah.
It's my full name.
Right.
Like, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Question number 2. What's your favorite snack?
Are we supposed to answer for ourselves or each other?
Oh, each other.
First
What do
one. What's Paul's favorite snack?
Popcorn.
Popcorn. Regular?
They're just so moist.
Popcorn is
Got a moist in there too.
I think popcorn's probably I could die overdosing on popcorn. Yours is like, you're a chocolate person. You're not a huge snacker. Yeah, you will eat a bite of chocolate like indiscriminately.
every now and then.
Yeah, but yeah, you don't really. Yeah, you're not
Not a big snacker.
Not a snacker.
If you've been in a fight, who apologizes first?
Yeah, I feel like we're both pretty good.
We
about
actually,
that.
whoever maybe I don't
to.
want to say was wrong was needed to look at something again is normally the person that comes back. And I think I reach out a little bit more.
Yeah. That's probably true. And I get my feelings a little bit hurt. But then I would say I do a better job of like 100% owning my. Yeah.
Which is probably why your feelings are hurt because you owning it.
Thanks, Angela.
Oh, she was right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. We both do like a decent job of that.
So like, oh, you made it so far.
That's really helpful. You've taken one thing away from the show.
Mandatory in a relationship. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Last
Last question. Who makes the bed every morning?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so for 18 years that we lived together,
Mm.
me. I'm very particular about the way that the bed's made. And Paul would just kind of
Sure.
like throw the stuff and I'd be like, I'm going to redo that anyway. So don't even do it that way. And then I told him, I read this thing that you're 100 times more likely to make $1 million if you make your bed every day. And he started making the bed perfectly. every single day.
That was
Motivation.
that was definitely not it. It was it was our son like disrobes anywhere, uses clothes everywhere. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And both of our kids are this way where it's like they just leave
trail.
everything. Yeah, I mean, it's like they literally empty.
Well,
the
if they
can
go
of
into
Coke
the
just to
hot, our hot tub's like right outside of our bedroom. And so they'll take their clothes off in our room and then they never come back.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do is like start like being a good example as to like, okay, like we're just going to do this immediately, like at the time that it needs to be done. Like we're just going to like clean it. And I feel like he specifically has responded to this like pretty well. Like
He never mixes.
but he cleans his room and then like puts his stuff away now where it's not like a regular basis, but he'll be like, God, it feels really good to like have some stuff, you know, and you're just like,
Okay, so last person out of the bed now typically makes the bed, and Paul
Yeah,
does a
that's true.
phenomenal job making the bed as I go.
oh, thanks.
Who makes the bed for you guys?
98% Angela.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I will help her sometimes.
But you're up earlier.
Yes.
He's usually
Yeah.
up early.
Now we're adopting the last one out of bed. Whenever she's out of bed before me and I see the bed, I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
It also works as really good chore play for us.
Nice.
So
That's a good call.
Let's make the bed.
so we can unmake it
Yeah.
and move these pillows again. How many pillows do you have on your bed?
No.
4, 5, 6,
8,
7, 8.
9,
8.
We have
9.
8. Oh, you do?
We're an 8 family too.
Yeah.
Well, because we each have 2,
Yep.
and then we have
The
2 decorative.
And I
Okay,
have,
fine.
I have a knee pillow.
Oh, yeah, he has a.
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like my orthotics.
there we go. Now we're getting to the sexy stuff just as we're going to the bed.
I think that was part of the reason I made the bed. 98% of James was boycotting the decorative pillows I have on our bed. He was like, why do we need all these pillows? I was like, because
it looks
That
pretty.
served no purpose.
For me, it was Jordan Peterson. If you want to change the world, make your bed. And
I like that.
really started to appreciate
Feels good.
doing that.
Yeah.
More the practice of
discipline of it.
the discipline. And for me, it's in the morning. I have 60 seconds to do what's important.
Yeah.
But then every time you walk in your room throughout the day, it's like, it looks
clean.
nice.
It's clean.
Do you have people who say they don't make the bed?
Yeah, so
All right.
most have made it. And
Yeah.
often it's last person to get out of bed, I think, has been the answer. But
Mhm.
there's been like 1 or 2 that's a
That's what happens when you get the 2 dreamers together.
They're like,
I don't need to do the bed. No,
Yeah.
those are details.
just get in it.
Again.
It's,
Chaos and money. All right. Snacks. And then this is it.
What are your favorites?
Snacks.
What are favorites?
I would like Boulder chips, barbecue,
Yeah.
barbecue Boulder chips.
Oh.
Bitch and sauce.
Oh,
Chipotle bitch and sauce.
yeah, oh yeah.
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 All right.
Costco has a big jug of them.
Yeah.
That's-
We get those. So I have a Costco membership
Yeah.
right there. My favorite snack. Well, I know my favorite. Well, do you want to answer for me?
Angela, not much of a snacker as well. Apples and peanut butter, though.
Mm.
Yeah. I was like, I really liked those when I was pregnant, and it just kind of stuck.
Stuck.
hmm
Um,
It's a good
Yeah.
combo.
yeah, apples and peanut butter.
I
And my
eat
kids
that
like
a
it
lot
too.
when you make it and feed it to me in
Slice the apple.
morning.
Please slice the apple.
Yeah.
I don't often want to like sit and do the things, but
Yeah.
he'll
You know
like
what
do
you'll
it.
eat is you get those olive. You get like a charcuterie. You get like olives and mushrooms.
We'll do like charcuterie.
Yes, that's your snack. Full circle.
I mean, and sweaty belts too.
yeah, obviously the
Name of the podcast.
Only well, and they're special sweaty. My gosh, we could do this for much longer. And thank you for being with us today.
thanks for having us.
Everybody, this is Paul and Annah Schnaitter. If you need anything real estate related, Paul's your guide.
If you need a therapist in North Colorado, Anna's your lady.
Absolutely. Love to help those that are doing something that is bigger than yourselves. And thank you for sharing your story, being honest with us, being raw and vulnerable. Thank you for listening to this other episode of Married and Magnetic. We hope you have loved it. If you've loved it and yet to leave us that awesome 5-star review, please go ahead and do that now. If you've been listening to this and it's resonated with you in any way, or maybe even brought up some friends or family of yours, go ahead and hit that share button. Share this message of love and help somebody out. With that,
See you next time.
yeah, we'll see you next time, y'all.